we continue the lesson with Topic 2, Classification of Organisms. In biology, an organism is an individual entity that exhibits the properties of life. Organisms are classified as unicellular and multicellular organisms. The unicellular and multicellular organisms can be classified as animals or plants. The animals and plants can be further classified. This will be discussed in the coming section. Now, we discuss the classification of animals. In our Earth, there are roughly 1 million animal species, have been identified by scientists. Animals have been classified into two groups, for better understanding of the species. The first is vertebrates. The second is invertebrates. These two categories of animals will be detailed in the conclusion of the lesson. We first talk about the invertebrates of the animals. Invertebrates are the animals without a backbone. There are more than 95% of animal species are invertebrates. Invertebrates have small-size bodies and simple structure. As they don't have the backbone to support their body weight. Invertebrates animal can be further divided into two groups. The first is invertebrates with legs. The second group of animals is invertebrates without legs. The characteristic of these two groups will be detailed in the following part of the lesson. We first talk about the characteristics of invertebrates with legs. All the invertebrates with legs have segmented bodies. Segmented body is the body that made up of a series of repetitive segments. They have hard outer shell. Another said, this is an exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is the external skeleton that supports and protects an animal's body. This is the example of invertebrates that possess 3 pairs of the leg. Ant, beetle, butterfly, cricket and cockroach. This is the example of invertebrates that possess more than 3 pairs of the legs. Crab, spider, millipede, prawn, and scorpion. This is about the characteristics of invertebrates without legs. Some have segmented bodies, and some have unsegmented bodies. Some have hard outer shells, and some don't have shells. This is the example of legless invertebrates, with the segmented body. They are leech and earthworm. This is the examples of legless invertebrates with unsegmented body. They are jellyfish, musselfish, and sea anemone. The next talk of the lesson is vertebrate. Vertebrates are animals with a backbone. Since vertebrates have the backbone as their body frame support, most vertebrates have a bigger body size compared to invertebrates. Vertebrates can be classified into 5 groups. The first is fishes. The second is amphibians. The third is reptiles. The fourth is birds. The fifth is mammals. The 5 types of vertebrates will be detailed in the following part of the lesson. In general, the classification of vertebrates is done based on their common characteristics. The first is habitat. It is type of natural environment in which a particular species of organism lives. Is breathing organs. Breathing organs that use to absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. The third is body temperature. In general, there are 2 types of body temperature, warm-blooded and cool-blooded. The fourth is movement. This is about the way how the creature move itself from one point to another. For example, swimming, flying, crawling and walking. The fifth is reproduction. This is about how the species reproduce their next generation. In general, it can be by laying egg or birth. The sixth is type of fertilization. It is either internal fertilization or external fertilization. The seventh is body cover. This is about the outskin cover of the species. hard slim with scales, feather or fur. This 7 characteristics of vertebrates animals will be discussed in the following part of the lesson. We first talk about the fishes. The habitat of fishes is in water. They use gills as their breathing organs. Fishes are cold-blooded animals. Its body temperature is changing according to environment temperature. About movement, they swimming to move. About reproduction of fishes, some lay egg, and some give birth. Shark is an example of fish, which reproduce via give birth. About the type of fertilization, all the fishes implement the external fertilization. About its body cover, fishes are covered with hard slimy scales. The content about the characteristics of the fishes, end here. This is about characteristics of amphibians. About its habitat, they live in water, when they are young. They live on the land, when they are adult. About breathing organs. When they are young, they use gills for breathing. When they get adult, they use lung and moist skin for breathing. About body temperature, they are cold-blooded. Their blood temperature is changing with environment. About their movement. Young amphibians, using their flattened tail to swim. Adult amphibians, using their 4 webbed feet, to swim. About the reproduction. They produce jelly-like egg without a shell. About the type of fertilization, it is the external fertilization. About their body cover. Their body is covered with moist and smooth skin. This is the characteristics of vertebrates. Now, we talk about the reptiles. About the habitat of reptiles. Most of the reptiles live on the land, but some live in the water. About the breathing organs, reptiles breathe using lungs. About body temperature. Reptiles are cold-blooded, where their temperature changing with environment. About the movement, reptiles are crawling. Most of them got 4 legs, but snake got no leg. About the reproduction of reptiles. Reptiles produce egg with shell. About the type of fertilization. This is an internal fertilization. About the body cover. Reptiles' body is covered with hard skin and scales. These are the characteristics of reptiles. Now, we talk about birds' habitat. Birds live on the land. About breathing organs, birds breathe using lungs. About their body temperature, they are warm-blooded. Where their body temperature is regulated in a fixed temperature. And this is not influenced by surrounding temperature. About the movement. Birds have wings to fly in the sky, and a pair of legs to let them can walk on the land. About the reproduction, birds produce egg with shell. About type of fertilization, it is an internal fertilization. About their body cover, bird body is covered by feather, and legs are with scales. This is the 7 common characteristics of the birds. Now, we talk about mammals. About their habitat, mammals live on the land. About breathing organs, mammals breathe using lungs. About body temperature, mammals are warm-blooded. Where their body temperature is regulated in a fixed temperature. And this is not influenced by surrounding temperature. About the movement of mammals, most of them are walking using 4 legs. About their reproduction, they give birth and nurse their young. About the type of fertilization of mammals, it is an internal fertilization. About the body cover, mammals' body is covered with fur or hair. This is the 7 characteristics of mammals. This is the full content of the classification of animals.